And we have a go for auto sequence start. Discovery's onboard computers have primary control of all the vehicle's critical functions. Start, 2, 1, booster ignition, and lift.
Welcome to the Launchpad. I'm your host, Harry Washington. And for those of you unfamiliar with this show is sponsored by Pursuing a Dream Corporation. And the focus of Pursuing a Dream Corporation is to encourage students to pursue degrees and careers in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. Today, this is part 2 of our mentoring segment, and we're joined by Mr. Kenneth Ward, Executive Director of College Bound. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you very much for having me again, sir.
Again, I should say welcome back to the show.
Yes, thanks.
So let's talk about what has been some of the successes of College Bound since last appearing on our show.
2 really big things. One of those is we graduated 100% of our kids from high school again.
Excellent.
And we have 100% college acceptance again for about 4 years in a row now. So that's always great, especially considering that the local graduation rate is somewhere around 57%. So that's always great.
Excellent.
One of the other most significant things that's happened with the program is we received a grant for $100,000 from the Many Hands organization, and that money was for us to launch a virtual mentoring program.
Okay.
And our virtual mentoring program will do what we've not really done successfully, which is support and monitor our kids through college. It's really great to get the data, but it's more importantly to support those students to make sure that they get to degree attainment.
Exactly.
So that's one of the most important things that has happened with the organization. And it sort of transformed our focus and given us a different look and a tagline. I think we've been saying making college a reality, and now we're really thinking about making college graduation a reality. So,
right, pardon the pun.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How does College Bound differ from other mentoring organizations?
I think our focus is really on degree attainment. A lot of other mentoring organizations solely work with students on feeling better about themselves, which is very important, and we have that mentoring component as well. But ours is of an academic base. We really want students to grow up and become self-sufficient, and we know that degree attainment is one of the factors that can really move someone along the road in life significantly. When you start looking at all of the health disparities, economic disparities, and just opportunities that a college degree brings, we're really focused on that. So I think that's the big factor.
Well, describe the mentor and mentee relationship that your organization has.
It's pretty awesome. Our mentors are required to come to our academic mentoring sites. We have 6 sites across the city, one night a week for 2 hours, and they build this relationship with students, hopefully in the 8th or 9th grade, that lasts through high school completion. And now with our virtual mentoring program, those same mentors are supporting those kids through college. So they're building a multi-year relationship with students, and the students open up to them in a very significant way, I think, to allow them into their personal space, to really coach them and to be able to see what's possible. So it's a really, I think, a special relationship that develops over time.
Now let's talk about the students. What students do you serve? What age group?
Public school students. We start with 8th grade. And as long as a student is in a public or public charter school, they can enroll in College Bound. As a matter of fact, we have students who come from the counties into the city because all of our sites are in the city currently, but we're looking at expanding as well.
What about the mentors? Let's talk about the mentors. What does a mentor look like? I mean, the typical College Bound mentor.
They look like America. One of the things that I love most about our program is, to me, it represents the best of America. If you come to any of our academic mentoring sites, you'll see African American, you'll see white, you'll see Hispanic, Asian. You'll see this mix of folk, and they range in age and professions, and it represents to me the best of our country. And what I really know about our country is that when we unite around a common ideal, that's when America is strongest.
Gotcha.
And I look at College Bound as being like the great American dream. It's an opportunity for any person who has a college degree to come back and give something to someone and to really believe in kids in a very purposeful way.
Gotcha. Now, describe to our viewers, what skills do students gain by participating in your program?
I'd like to think that a college-bound student is more well-rounded, and sometimes when I hear some of the horrible news stories about a kid pushing another kid into a metro bus or doing something crazy, I'm like, I know that's not a college-bound kid. I just like to think that our kids are exposed to people and to opportunities that really makes them more well-rounded and more prepared, not only for college, but for life. We have this diverse mentor base, so for a lot of our kids, they're around people of different ethnicities. We have some really great partnerships, a partnership with the American Institutes for Research, Deloitte, Black Entertainment Television. So they're exposed to a lot of different professionals that they would not come across in their neighborhoods.
Excellent.
So this exposure, I think, just opens them up for the world. And 2 years ago, we started an international study tour, taking our students to Ghana, having a chance to go to slave castles, visit different institutions there, meet African students, students, and also stopping back by Anne Frank's house. So I think just giving them a global perspective and really encouraging them when they get into college to do study abroad and to do internships. So I think that they're more well-rounded than their peers.
So what's been some of the statements that students made participating in activities like this?
It's interesting. I was with Vondae at Anne Frank's house, and she's walking through Anne Frank's house, and she says, wow, Anne Frank was just a teenage girl like me. She had crushes on boys. Sometimes she didn't get along with her mother.
Right.
So she made that connection, and she could understand that, like Anne Frank, there's something that she has in common with her, and that she too shares some of that suffering. And you can't put, suffering in a box. I think a lot of people have suffered, and sometimes our kids need to understand that, yeah, we've suffered as a people, but I can overcome that, and I can do something different with my life. We've had kids who talked about the program and who've acknowledged that without College Bound, they would not have gone to college. There's a young lady who talks about Tiani, and she talks about the College Bound impact on her life. She's a student now at UDC, and she talks about the fact that without College Bound, that she thinks that right now, not only might she be pregnant or have a kid, but she might not be alive. Wow. And when a kid shares that with you, that they really had not even thought about their life trajectory further than the immediacy of right now, what they can do right now, and your program has really helped them, in such a meaningful way, that's very humbling, very humbling.
So let me ask this, what's the struggle trying to get students to get out of that comfort zone? We talk about the comfort zone on camera, but what's the struggle getting them out of that comfort zone?
Often it can be parents. There's a kid we're advising this year. Her mother has this mindset that she can send her to a very small school, and if she sends her to this very small school, that she can sort of guard her or protect her from the world. And I'm of the mindset that it's the opposite of that. You want to send your kid to a place that's really rich, that has a lot of opportunities, so they can find positive things to do. I've listened to a lot of people talk about mentoring. Secretary of State Arne Duncan once said that, we're all being mentored. It's whether or not you have a positive mentor or a negative mentor. So I think that sometimes you listen to parents, and parents can really provide the wrong information. So sometimes trying to get kids to think for themselves or to just be very honest about what they think is going to be best for them, and not negating what parents say, because parents know their kids, and sometimes they know their kids better than their kids know themselves. So not to say that, but just really trying to get kids to open up and think for themselves and not tell them what to think, I think is the opportunity.
I guess last question, what are some of your current initiatives?
Right now we have this international study tour that we started. We started this virtual mentoring program, which is really great. And we have ongoing college tours. So we do 2 college tours. There's one in the fall, which is a one-day college tour to local schools within a 3 to 4 hour radius. And then we do a huge college tour in the spring, which allows our students to travel to several states and see probably 8 or 9 different colleges over a 4-day period. We try and show them HBCUs, single-gender schools, schools that are predominantly white, state schools, liberal arts schools, just a mix of colleges, so they're well prepared. And we also work with people like the University Club to do a career night. They bring in different career professionals. Our students are privy to some of the top people in their fields, and of course we do a college fair where we bring in college representatives, and they do on-site admissions. So a lot of different things to really provide a rich experience for our students.
Excellent. You are really about college.
Oh, I love it. I love it, yes. And I know as a first-generation college student how that changed my life, and I want my students to have that same opportunity.
We'd like to thank Mr. Ward for joining us. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Launchpad. I'm your host, Harry Washington, and today we're joined by special guest, Mr. David Nash with Mentoring in Medicine. But before we go on the interview, I want to show you something. Mr. Nash, tell us about this picture.
Note the year of 1970. That's when I was very fortunate to have been a member of the Harlem Globetrotters. It was a very rewarding experience with me traveling on world tour, playing basketball, and blending in with other cultures in sports and entertainment.
Now, how did you get connected with Mentoring in Medicine?
Got connected with Mentoring in Medicine. As you know, I work with the National Library of Medicine. I am the director of the Outreach and Education Initiative. Through that organization, we came to the library around 1990 or so with our director, Dr. Donald Lindbergh, and one of our goals was to establish an outreach program where we could reach into the communities to provide ongoing health information through our various operations that we have there at the library and our websites.
And describe to our viewers, what population do you serve?
We serve minority groups with a particular emphasis on young kids who are in high school or either junior high, or reaching out with a partnership, because as we move toward the 21st century, the key word that we'll be looking at is diversity as we move into the nation. And as I always continue to say, you judge a nation's wealth by the health of its people. And as we reach into the communities, young kids perhaps want to get into the medical field. Everybody doesn't have to be a doctor, but you can be a lab technician, dental technician, x-ray technician, etc. And that involves technical skills, which oftentimes don't require 4-year degrees.
Right, very true.
A fine example is Prince George's County. I believe they have an ongoing program, where a 2-year program, where you can come in and take certain courses, etc., and be certified as a technician.
Now, explain to viewers, what are some of the programs that Mentoring in Medicine offers?
Well, we offer programs in terms of coming in, being partnership with doctors and healthcare professionals in the New York area, which is where Dr. Lynn Holden, who started the organization about 7 years ago, started. We have areas of expertise where we work with the kids at various high schools, Frederick Douglass Academy there, Arthur Ashe Academy, etc.
Okay. But now, well, give us an idea, what schools do you work with within the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area?
Within the Prince George's County and in the metropolitan Washington area, we're starting out our program perhaps at the Flowers High School there with our principal, Mr. Brown there.
Okay.
Well, that's one of the initiatives within the county that we're going to be starting with these kids.
Okay. How does Mentoring in Medicine encourage students to pursue careers in medicine?
Well, it encourages them by assigning you with a healthcare professional. Let's say if you want to be an x-ray technician, one of the things that you would do would probably meet with x-ray technicians who are currently performing their duties. As a mentor, he or she brings you into the operations to show you the particulars that it takes to be an x-ray technician or lab technician. So by being that partnership, that tag-along type mentoring thing, we're continually presenting them opportunities to enhance their career as well as knowledge and skills it takes in becoming such expertise.
Now, how long does a student shadow? Give us an idea. How long does a student shadow an expert?
Well, you can shadow them. We generally oftentimes we start at the sophomore year. You can start sophomore year, such as myself. I've been fortunate to have young kids that I've been working with since they were about 16 or so.
Okay.
Well, some of these young kids now, they're in college. Some of them are just starting in college. Some of them have finished college, and some of them are x-ray technicians or out in the field already.
Okay.
So we've been truly fortunate to keep tabs as to where they are, what they're doing, and how we can be of service to them in the community.
And tell viewers again, how long has your organization been around?
The National Library, the National Mentoring in Medicine has been around about 7 years. With the National Library of Medicine, we're celebrating 175 years of existence. Not that I've been there 175 years.
So, and now Mentoring in Medicine is doing more outreach in the Washington metropolitan area.
Yeah, it is a partnership. We're reaching out into the Washington, D.C. area at the high school level, junior high level, so the kids can understand, hey, this is what it takes. You don't have to necessarily go to school to be a doctor if you don't, as I said earlier. And I emphasize, you can come in with the partnership, and that's what the mentoring is about. We're there working with the young kids who are interested in this field and pointing them into the areas of expertise and what it takes.
And that student can stay with that mentor for how long?
Oh, they can stay with it. You know, you can be a mentor. We've had mentors who have become professionals who have come back into the program, and that's the beauty of it. You get the boomerang effect. You go there, you be of service to the community, you spend right on back and pick up that youngster or that child, that person who wants to be the same thing you do or want to be there. It's that give back mentality. Hey, I'm here, but I got here through people that care about me, and I take this back to the community.
How does Mentoring in Medicine motivate students to stay focused? Because medicine is a very intense field.
It is an intense field, but we motivate it through, let's say if you want to become a lab technician or nurse's assistant or dental assistant, by working with the people there, and we understand what you're doing. Hey, how are you feeling? How are things going? We meet with the parents, we meet with the counselors, we meet with the school principals, and we stay focused with the child. How are you feeling? What can we do to be of service to you? And it is that somebody cares about me mentality that makes it work.
How much involved is the parent with this?
Parents are very involved in fact of being mentored. The parents come to the school, they understand the program. We meet with them. What is your child doing? How can we be a better service to your child? How can we be a better service to the community? And we're also working in the church. We work with the church groups inside the communities, etc., in terms of getting things going. As I always say, you judge a nation's wealth by the health of its people and how we maintain that health.
Right. Because even your organization does outreach in terms of going to church, having dinners, so students can meet professionals. How effective is that?
That's very effective. When we go into churches, we meet with people who are faith-based.
Okay.
And oftentimes, you know, they believe we all have faith-based initiatives that we believe in. But at the same time, health and wellness is an informational type operation through goods and services of its citizens and its church members. So we go in, we meet with the church groups and pastors, etc., And we have tried to establish those type of organizations, such as in the Prince George's County. We're now looking at the first. We're looking at the church over in Maryland near the center, the outreach center over there, and that is First Baptist Church of Highland Park.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're doing there is that we come in, bringing equipment, meeting with these kids, and providing the knowledge and skills and the necessary encouragement. And that's what it's all about, meeting with these youngsters. We care about you and being of service to you as well as the parent.
Last question. What can our viewers expect from Mentoring in Medicine in 2013?
They can expect to see us moving into the county. They can expect to see information out there of goods and services with what we're about and how we're proposing to move to train the young kids and to be of service to the community.
I would like to thank our guest, Mr. Nash, for joining us. Again, this program is in dedication for Mentoring Month. We'll be back. Welcome back. I'm your host, Harry Washington. Again, this show is dedicated to Mentoring Month. And I'm gracious enough to be next to Mr. David Nash with Mentoring in Medicine and Mr. Kenneth Ward with the College Bound. Gentlemen, thanks again for joining us. In terms of just informal questions, what's been your successes in terms of operating these mentoring organizations, working with these students?
Well, when you talk about terms of success, my success has been the parents and the community itself realizing what mentoring is.
Okay.
Because kids learn from examples and experiences that we can always revert back to. Because there's never no situation that somebody has never been in that they can't reach back to help somebody, come forth in terms of sharing and caring about them and their wellness.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I think one of the successes for me is seeing students that I know who would not have had an opportunity to go to college, and we were able to help make that a reality for them. That's just really powerful. And there are several students that we've helped go through that process. They're back mentoring with us now. And one student in particular, Inatimi, we just hired her. She just graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, and she's back working now as one of our program coordinators. So that's really powerful to see a kid, to meet a kid in 8th grade, to walk them through that process, support them through college, and come back and give them a job. So it's really powerful.
Excellent. I mean, how, and I'll ask this question again, how do you motivate these students? I mean, what is it particularly about your program that gets these students inspired to achieve these goals that you guys set for them?
Fear always works. No, I think that I think that we provide them with mentors, and truly a mentor, that's their job, to inspire. And the mentors that we have, they're college-educated folk. They're well-rounded. They've had a lot of rich experiences, and I think when you see something that really looks good, kids are savvy enough to understand that that's functional, that's working, that's something that I'd like to ascribe to doing later in my life. So really trying to provide great examples for them.
Right.
Yeah, well, great examples for the child is understanding what they can do and the successes that they can be. Working with the National Library of Medicine at the National Institutes of Health, here we are, the heart of the health world is somewhat focused on us. We're the largest biotechnological information center in the world at the library. And our director, Dr. Donald Lindbergh, he has always inspired us to, hey, what can we do to be of service to these communities? Well, you get there, the children come there, they see what's going on. We have fantastic exhibits that are always there. You go to the website, there's something there. You reach into the urban areas, and again, college people, as he says, we both agree, college people that can reach back and you see the successes and being of service.
What have been some of your struggles in terms of mentoring? Because I know that is the biggest thing, trying to get students involved as well as parents and even schools, everybody. What's been some of the struggles that you guys have had personally?
One of the challenges we've had is actually recruiting mentors because we're trying to expand our numbers, so we're trying to serve more students and really trying to tap into people who believe in our students, because anyone can come back and spend 2 hours. But I don't want you working with my program if you do not believe in the student that you're working with.
Excellent.
They may not go to the college that you attended, they may not want to go to the college that you attended, but you have to believe in the capacity of that student that they can go to college. So the opportunity for us is to find the best fit for that student. So for us is really finding mentors, really making sure that we're tapping into a diverse group of people to get them to come back and commit to mentoring, and that sometimes can present a challenge.
Well, with me, the same. I agree with everything he's saying. With our program, we have mentors that are available. One of the things we have is the young black males, and getting into the mentoring program, because as up to about 50% of the kids, they're all caught up in this athleticism mentality. They're going to be the next billion dollar athlete, etc., and everything. And I got the chance of making it. It's so rare, but if you do make it, what do you do afterwards? You look at the age and time has passed, like the Globetrotters in 1970, 40-something years ago, you would have never told me I would have been here. but we have been so fortunate in getting out there working, and my hat's off to the young ladies in the programs, etc. And again, coming into the community, if you believe in what you're doing, as we both agree, if you don't want to be a mentor, don't give me 2 hours and you go on away and say you've done your best.
Right.
No, you come there with a willingness and an authenticity in what you're doing working in the program.
How have both of you dealt with that? Just like having a situation where maybe there's just not a good fit? Maybe the mentor and the mentee, how do you guys deal with that?
Well, we meet with the parent. Well, we meet with the mentee. Hey, are you having issues? Are you having problems mentoring this child, or what is those issues are? You have an upfront organization, because through communication, cooperation, and conciliation, if you don't talk to the child about it, he won't know about it. If you don't cooperate, you're only 16. We're talking about your age, not your IQ.
Right.
This is what we need to do based on experiences. And if that's not a perfect match and they're not happy with it, then we try to move into another area to try to satisfy that child. But again, those are areas that you have. Communications is the key.
Right.
Communication, cooperation, and the conciliation. Take a realistic look. Because kids, well, I want to be diversity. What do you want to be? I want to be king of the world. Excuse me, we don't have any kings of the world around here.
Right.
It's called hard work and doing your best to be of service.
Managing the expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
But what's your expectation?
It's interesting that he would say communications, because I think that's key.
Okay.
Sometimes we have students, and when they first meet their mentor may be of a different race.
Okay.
So instantly they'll think, this person can't relate to me. And I think that's very short-sighted on their part. So we're trying to expose them to the world, and the rest of the world may not necessarily look like you.
Okay.
So one of the things that we talk to our students about is getting out of your comfort zone and staying in your safety zone. So sometimes it's uncomfortable for you. But if we find that a relationship is not working for whatever reason, we rematch.
Okay.
We just rematch. And if it's because the mentor is not right for College Bound, then maybe we find some other capacity to use the mentor. They can help us with fundraising. That's always a challenge.
Okay.
They can help us with some social things that we're doing, some social media,
Okay.
or some other things. But often through the vetting process, the mentors turn out to be great people. The challenge sometimes is that they travel or they're not here, and you have to be consistent.
Right.
If the student is expecting you to show up each week, you have to be there. So sometimes we lose mentors because of that.
Okay. And let me ask you guys this. In terms of, just like in terms of managing expectations, have you ever had situations where maybe parents come in and think maybe you guys are supposed to do the world? I mean, have you ever had that, and how do you manage that?
Absolutely. I taught school. So I think sometimes parents think that you can just drop Antoine off and you got a magic stick and you can make everything right. And I'm very clear with our parents. We make a bold promise because we say College Bound. So our mission is in the name, is College Bound. And that's a very bold promise to make, but there's a process to that. And if you're not willing to commit and follow the process, then I can't guarantee that that's going to be the outcome. So there's work that has to be done, and I think we know with anything in life, there's work that you have to put in. So we just try and be very upfront about that. If you're willing to do the work, these are some of the rewards that you'll get down the road. And I think it teaches our students a lot when they're willing to invest.
Exactly, I agree with him, and that's the thing that you deal with in the schools. You come there, the principal, the school, the education area that you're working in. Are you guys committed? This is what can happen. And I think kids take a realistic look when you come in and you talk, whether it's a case of sincerity, and here we are, this is what we plan to do, this is how we can be of service. Not to come in, dominate, dictate, but no, this is what's here, and as we both agree, the real world is out there. And in the 21st century, people of color, we need to understand that once it's coming, it's here. And we all come together collectively to work together for the health and well-being of this country.
If you guys don't mind sharing, what's been your personal experience with mentoring? Have you guys even had any personal experience with mentoring? Has there been anybody in your life that's mentored you?
Oh, God, yes. Pardon me. I believe my mentors probably was my grandmother and my auntie, my Aunt Shug, when I was growing up. Because I was a little kid. I guess basketball had always been attracted to me from the old St. Louis Hawks days. I was fortunate, but then Bill Bradley, other people like that, Will Chamberlain, going to the University of Kansas, etc. But then getting out in the real world, working with people, I've been fortunate.
And it's interesting he said his grandmother, because my grandmother was a huge impact on me.
Yeah.
She was a God-fearing woman, so she instilled in me respect of self and respect of others and love for mankind. But a lesson that she taught me shortly before she died, I was had finished my freshman year, and I was going into my sophomore year of college, and I wanted to pledge a fraternity that fall. So I wanted to go to summer school to boost my grades, take some additional courses, and I didn't have the money to do it. So my grandmother asked me, she's like, why are you pouting? Because I was known to pout. And I said, nothing. She says, no, why are you pouting? I said, oh, because I don't have the money to go to summer school. She says, well, how much is it? I I said, it's about $2,500. Now, this was my grandmother who had sent me $7 my freshman year in an envelope, and I was excited to get it. She says, well, bring me my pocketbook. And I'm thinking, why am I getting her pocketbook for $2,500? And she says, who do I make the check out to? So she wrote a check for $2,500 for me to go to summer school, and this was May. My grandmother died that September, right before I went online for Kappa. But she taught me a very important lesson, that education is important. And I do have money. I don't have money for frivolous things, but for something that I deem as important as you getting a college education, I can give you $2,500 for that. So that lesson has stayed with me forever. And if we're ever going to invest in anything for our children, it's education. And it's a game changer. And I know it changed my life. So definitely my grandmother was probably my biggest mentor.
Final words, anything?
Final word. My final word, I always say education is the key that unlocks the door to anything you want to be. So please remember that. Education is the key that unlocks the door to whatever you want to be, and opportunities are out there.
And I think that we sit here on the eve of the president's second inauguration. We look at him and how he's achieved such great stature. It's through education. He's knocked down so many barriers by educating himself and really showing that he is approved. And I think that if we really want to pass on anything to our students or our children, it's education. I think that will change the dynamics in our community when we really focus on education the way that we should.
Excellent. We'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Kenneth Ward with College Bound, as well as Mr. Nash with Mentoring in Medicine. Again, this segment was dedicated to Mentoring Month, so go out there and mentor someone. Thanks. Thanks for joining us.